Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from everywhere you are. This is a Mohsen from Microsoft Zero to Hero. I'm so happy to be here with another great session. And before to kick off the main session, let me share some slides with you about the community and today's session. Today, we have a great session with Robert, who wants to talk about the zero trust implementation in the Microsoft Cloud. And the topic is very interesting and very useful if you want to implement your cloud in the Microsoft. And we should know about the zero trust and improve your security. And this is, as you know, we are a part of Microsoft Learn community. Microsoft Learn community is a hub, a lot of learning content based off your role, based off the certification. You can find your learning path. There are a lot of text content, video, and actually you can ask your question from a lot of learning experts. And this is a Microsoft Zero Hero December calendar, the last month in the 2024. And this session is the first session on the December. A lot of previous session uploaded our YouTube channel. And the last slide is our code of conduct. Be aware of other, be friendly and passionate, be welcoming and respectful, be open to all question and viewpoint, be understanding on different, and be kind and considerate to other in the chat, in the question, and other things. And the time is to add Robert to a stage. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Maxen, and hello, all of you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on the time that you are connecting to. Let's start it soon.
Yeah, Robert, the topic is very interesting. As I know, the zero trust, I think the first step of the security in the each organization should implement in the cloud environment. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, basically, the zero trust is like a broad topic. So basically, I will show you how many pillars it has and which are the most important for you to implement. And basically, all in all, I think that zero trust should be the goal for everybody for 2025 to make their environments more secure. But I will talk about it later today.
Yeah, great. Let me add your presentation on the screen. Okay, you can
All right.
start. Enjoy.
Yep. All right. So let's start from here. Zero to Hero, 2024 December edition. Like it was mentioned, today I will be speaking about zero trust implementation in Microsoft Cloud. Basically, we will go through all the nice things around the zero trust, but this is the huge topic, to be honest, to cover in 50, 60 minutes with the right and advanced demos. So my idea is to show you where you can take a look in order to implement the zero trust within your environment. And then I would like to give you the tools so you will be able to craft your zero trust implementation within your environments. But let's move on. I would like to start about something about me. Who am I? So basically, my name is Robert Przybylski. I'm from Poland. I'm working in Formula 5 company as a Microsoft partner, as a security practice leader. If somebody wants to reach out to me, please do it through the LinkedIn profile or through my blog. Basically, in my actual career, I'm spinning around four main topics. The first one is on-premises, Active Directory, all the things around authentication and everything related to it. Then obviously cloud, Microsoft Azure with Entra ID, all the things around the governance, cloud adoption framework, migrations, and many other things. Third one, which is the thing that connects everything, is security, because I'm doing a lot of on-premise hardening, cloud hardening projects, compromise recoveries as well from time to time. I'm also doing the pen tests for my clients, security posture reviews, and many other things related to this. And the fourth pillar or fourth area is education, because I'm an academic teacher and trainer. I'm also performing some actions as a mentor for people who want to work with me after hours, non-benefit, just to help them scale their environment and the knowledge around that to make sure that they would progress in the right direction. I'm also a Microsoft MVP, Microsoft MCT. I have many certificates, and I also I'm a part of the Polish representation over the Lock Shields cyber maneuvers. But we are not here today to talk about me, but to talk about things around zero trust. So let's move on. When it was started, actually, what's the beginning of this and the idea? And somebody might be surprised that in 1994 there was the first information about zero trust, about things that we should do something else or something different with the identity and everything. Stephen Paul Mars made a memo that was having the sentence or thesis that trust should be should be moved out of the human factor, and basically it should be containing also ethics. It should be also considering law regulations, the judgments and other things. So basically, you can see the compact flash and zip for people who are, I don't want to say oldest or older, but in 1994, the zip and the compact flash was also introduced. So similar to the first information in the documents around the zero trust. Then moving on to the 2001, the famous year of Windows XP. I guess everybody knows that that XP was there, and the artificial intelligence movie was also released. And funny spin-off is that after 23 years, we have AI everywhere, like copilots everywhere. So then another document called Open Source Security Testing Methodology Manual was the document that was putting a focus on security. So it was not so far from now. It's only 20 years ago. I remember I was still in high school that time. But then in 2009, when I was in university, I think I was at the university that time. So basically, Minecraft happened. We all know, and I'm like almost 40 years old. So for me, all the old games were like Minecraft. But now young people want to play the old-fashioned games like Minecraft, because in my times, Hex and Heretic had the same level of graphic. But it's not the case. In 2009, Google decided to create something which is called Beyond Corp. It was zero trust architecture, the first architecture that was written and established by huge player, huge vendor. But then moving forward in 2018, there was a case with Cambridge Analytica and related to the Facebook data leak. So basically, those in this year, there were some documents that were created by NIST and the National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence from the United States. They made a publication around zero trust rule as a concept of ideas and methodologies that should be helpful for people to make everything more secure, honestly speaking. Because it was like there was an example that something clicked, so maybe we can address that. So it was addressed, and I will show you the file, the NIST publication later. I have a demo slide in 2 slides from now, so then I will walk you through that. But let's move on to actual situation, how it looks nowadays. And if you will take a look at the zero trust, you will see every time like a couple of pillars like identity, devices, applications, data, network / infrastructure. Sometimes network is separated from infrastructure. Sometimes it's pointed together. But these are the things that we need to secure, honestly speaking. And I think that the order also is the crucial one, because The first thing that you do when you're at work, you're logging to your system, right? But you need to authenticate within your account. This is why protecting users is the key. Then devices, then the whole other things like infrastructure, like applications, like data, and many other things. Basically, if you will go to the Microsoft Learn site, you will be able to find a diagram like this one that is showing in a helicopter point of view zero trust policy plus all those features and pillars that I described earlier, with some informations. Like, for example, for identities, we might have not only the human identity but also non-human, like a workload identity. Then we need to provide them the strong authentication methods to be secure, right? We can use, for example, FIDO keys for human identities and other things for non-human. The same with the endpoints. We all know that we are living in a world that we can have a corporate and a personal device. For example, you can use the corporate laptop, but then you can use your personal phone to make sure that you will be able to reach over the teams to your colleagues from your work, but then you need to be onboarded to some kind of MDM system, mobile device management and mobile application management system, to make sure you will be compliant, you will be secure, and etc. So basically, these are the things that are showing in helicopter point of view how the zero trust could be your colleague in day-to-day work. And now I would like to go with you through some of the materials that I prepared for today. First is the mentioned Zero Trust architecture document from NIST. By the way, you don't need to copy those informations after meeting. I will put the link over the chat, or maybe now I will put it, like all in one group of the links that will be presented by me today. So here you have over the email. So this document, if you will download that, it will describe information around the zero trust, how we can implement that, what we need to take into the consideration when designing our environments, right? Because sometimes people are not thinking about zero trust or security itself from the very beginning. Sometimes we are asked to provide the architecture to make sure that the application/system will work, will bring money to the company, and then after some time, we have time to implement security in a right level. And after that, actually, during that time, that moment, we are the ones who are breaking the things in most cases, because we are enabling security boundaries, which are not allowing shortcuts, which are normally used by the users.
Sorry, Robert. I think mute again. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm struggling with small audio issues today, so I will disconnect my additional microphone and it will speak to the built-in. And now you should be able to hear me properly. Am I right, Nelson?
Yeah. Great. Great.
Cool. All right, great. Cool. So the next thing is the zero trust business plan. As you can see, this is like a well-known document with some sections like what we can do. And actually, the first information here is very crucial. We should be aware that before the time that there was a situation that everybody was able to work remotely from home, we were working from the office normally. But then something happened. We were asked to work from home for some time. And the situation flipped over a little bit, because we were not at the secured environment. We were working from either from home or from our even private laptops. And we were required to provide security boundaries around the access to make sure that we will not lose the data, because hackers or attackers are not sleeping all day, all night. They are trying to use every particular moment to to earn some money, let's call it like that, because they are not doing it just as a hobby. They are doing it for getting some money, right? So zero trust will help us within the securing identities and other areas of our environment. And please, I would I would recommend you to go through that document because it will describe pretty well how we can plan that, what are the use cases, what are the things that we should consider when measuring, when checking, when implementing everything. So this is one of the materials that I want to show you. The second one is Zero Trust Adoption Framework. And now I will go back. Sorry, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. I need to change US. I don't know why the link worked in a Polish version, but we want to use the English one. I want to show you one more thing because this is very nice, by the way. This is very nice material. You can do like a self-evaluation of your zero trust implementation according to what you have in your environment, and nobody will touch your environment to do the evaluation. You will have to answer some of the questions around 6 pillars. So here, like I said, you have 6 pillars. Sometimes in the documents you can find 5 of them, because infrastructure and network sometimes is together, sometimes is not together. So let's take an identity, the thing that is closest to me. You can go through the 9 questions, like, for example, how you enable multi-factor authentication for internal users. Let's call it that we did it for some of the users, because obviously Microsoft helped us recently and enabled the MFA for our global admins. Then which forms of passwordless authentications are enabled for your users? And here we can see the phone call, text message, OAuth token, FIDO keys, authenticator. For most cases, I would say that authenticator in Windows Hello for Business is the key, because a lot of companies are getting out of the phone call or text message. For advanced scenarios, I'm recommending FIDO keys, like for break glass account, for C-level or admins, we should do it for sure. Then what we have else? We have which of the user group are provided with the single sign-on. We can decide, for example, that information and frontline workers, which of the following security policy engineers are using to make access decision for enterprise resources. So we can say that, for example, we are using MDM and other. Have you disabled legacy authentication? Yes, it's on the way in most of the environments. Are you using real-time user and sign-in risk detections? You can read that if you are using identity protection. Let's say, no, I'm not using. Which of the following technologies have you integrated with your identity and access management? So this one and that one. And which of the following contexts is used in your access policies? User, location, and that will be all, for example. Are you using Identity Secure Score for your guidance? Yes. And then it will be the same for all of the pillars. Depending on the specific pillar, you will have the specific questions, but how it will help you? It will help you by showing you what you can implement better, for example, MFA, how you can block legacy authentications, how you can do the MCAS implementation, or, for example, how you can review the secure score. Basically, it's like an entry-level zero trust review from my point of view for our customers and for all of the organizations, because you don't need to share anything with Microsoft. You can just answer the questions and then you will get the information. And it's very nice because if you will go here, for example, with the block legacy authentication, you will get step-by-step, like by hand configuration where we can go with that. And now I will get back to the demo. Sorry, not the demo, but to the slide deck. And I have mentioned at the beginning Cloud Adoption Framework. I hope that you know Cloud Adoption Framework because it's a great material, similar like well-architected framework, which should be like a North Star for all of us when it comes to implementing the cloud in a secure and a modern way. But what if I will tell you that there are a lot of similar points between Cloud Adoption Framework and Zero Trust Framework? If you will take a look here, you can see that we have plan, we have defining strategy, we have as well readiness, adoption, we have it, governance, managing as well, we have on both sides. In Zero Trust Framework, we don't have secure part. Why? Because Zero Trust is a security by itself. But by knowing the Cloud Adoption Framework, you will be able to easily maneuver through the Zero Trust framework, because it will help you, or it will even not help you, but it will be understandable for you how to do what in right or in which order. And now I would like to go to the another material, which is the Zero Trust Adoption Framework overview. Here, it's a great document that can help you going through all the decisions, all the things like what we need to do, how we should drive the discussion with the specific people, what are the principles, and etc. It's amazing, to be honest, how it will guide you to implement Zero Trust in an organization from small size to the enterprise size, like a huge size, right? So this is another document that I want to share with you. Then going back to the presentation, I told you that users are the first part which should be covered, like the identity. Within the Zero Trust framework, we have two stages for each of the pillar. We have like initial implementation, and then we have advanced implementation. Within the initial implementation for users, we need to understand that Entra ID will become our primary identity provider. So we need to make sure that we will start migration from on-prem to cloud to be prepared that everything will be covered in a cloud, because it will help us get more and more advanced information. Of course, I understand that sometimes it will be impossible because of some legacy systems, but at least we can try to push all as much as possible data to the cloud. Then conditional access, simply saying we need to make sure that access to our environment is made based on the conditions, on the specific conditions, like, for example, allowed locations, or specific users can do specific things, and etc. Then we should have logs. And the logs are also important ones, because we need to have, or we need to store logs within the AD and other cloud resources to make sure that, for example, Sentinel will be able to analyze that for us and help us with the workbooks to do all the things around the automation. Then advanced implementation, identity governance, like something like well-known solutions from other third-party vendors, but using the Microsoft tool stack, it's also possible to do, because nowadays identity governance can do a lot. It can help you with workflows, with joiner, mover, leaver process to make sure it will be managed on the right level and the right way. Then you can have, for example, user device and location behavior analysis from your system. You can do the integration with the Microsoft Defender family, like for endpoint, for use, for identity, for cloud apps, for cloud, and many other, for IoT as well, as an example. But many other things are able to be integrated in the Microsoft stack to make sure that you will be able to secure that, right? I will not mention about some obvious things for me, like PIM or like entitlement management, passwordless, and other things, because I would like to use the time with you today not to show you where to click, how to click, but to plant the seed in your head that you will be willing to get more knowledge about what I was talking about today. And for example, you can find some of the materials on my website. I shared with you the link. But of course, I'm a person who thinks that it's better if you will get only like a good representation or presentation around the technology, but then after all, you will do the homework, like familiarizing with it. Moving forward, I hope that everybody knows this logo, like the White House logo. I don't know if you're aware, but White House announced some time ago executive order on cybersecurity and memorandum. It was some time ago, but I want to show it to you now how it looks because I have it somewhere here. Yeah, we have it here. So basically, the White House decided some time ago in May 2021 to announce the memorandum and the order around security. And you can see that it's moving the US government towards zero trust cybersecurity principles. That means all the companies slash all the vendors providing, for example, services like Microsoft Azure, Microsoft 365, automatically they started to be in line with this memorandum. And if you will go to Microsoft webpage, you will be able to find the information that it met the requirements, that Entra ID met the requirements regarding this memorandum and how it's managed. So basically, it's not like only some folks from NIST, CISA, or any other organizations decide to do the zero trust because it would be better for all of them people, but also the governments across the world decide to make a zero trust as a strategy for them. Moving forward, devices, another pillar. Here we have another similarity like initial deployment and advanced deployment. Within the initial, we have the device registration in ID and Entra ID, meaning that device will not be domain joined, but it will be Entra ID joined. Then we can use the Intune to have access for compliant devices. We can have data loss prevention for bring your own device. The case that I said during the remote work times that we were forced to do it in 2019. So basically, some people want to go and work with their laptop. So we need to secure the laptops to make sure that, first of all, we'll not lose the data, and then the data will be secure. Then we have device risk monitoring and conditional access based on the risk because it can help you. By the way, I don't know if you're aware that there is something like conditional access zero trust web page, conditional access for zero trust. This is a great article that I'm sharing the link with all the people. Eshan, all the links are shared already within my message pointing to Entra blog, because there is like an article showing all the things in one place. So you don't need to copy from the browser. So here, within the conditional access for zero trust, we have a lot of information like principles, like the information that there are something which is called personas, how we can achieve the zero trust way of thinking within the configuring the conditional access policies, how we can understand those personas. There is even though the link to the Excel file showing you the recommended settings for all of the people. For all of the personas. I am always messing around with the people word in here. As you can see, even though great schema or scheme for naming and numbering the conditional access policies. I highly recommend to go through it. and the download the spreadsheet is here. I will download it now, so I will be able to show it to you. Would it open? Yeah. So here we have a conditional access policy empty configuration. And let's go to the admins, for example. And let's pick the first one that appears, like identity protection, all apps, any platform, block legacy authentication, the thing that I described a couple of minutes ago. So you can see that you need to configure something for users and groups and exclude some of the groups. Then you can see that all cloud applications should be included. And you can go further down and see the legacy authentication clients should be marked, and access control should be require all the selected controls and block. So basically, in one place, you have great material how to enhance security within your environment easily. I would say easily. Going back and then closing this one, going back to the slide deck. When it comes to the applications, it's always the thing that we can use the Microsoft Defender for cloud apps. We can use the shadow IT. We can do the data protection policies. We can do a lot of things around that. But I think, honestly, today it will be better if we will describe something actual, like intra-suite parts, like internet access, that can help you with creating the compliant network, the universal conditional access, to make sure that you will get security boundaries in place, protecting your environment not only from the laptop, but also from the office, and then from the other areas as well, which will be described in a minute. Sorry, you cannot see that. Here we have it. So as you can see on a diagram, every entity, which is the identity endpoint on a remote network, when accessing Microsoft 365 applications or other SaaS applications, will go through the tunnels, something which is called tunnel, and then it will be protected by conditional access and continuous access evaluation straight to the specific sources. And on the next slide, I will show you how it will look. So basically, we have a laptop with Global Secure Access Client on it. Then we would like to access the Microsoft 365 application. How we can do it? By this agent installed on our laptop. Soon it will be integrated with Defender. We can have something which is called the tunnel between those two areas. And then it will be protected by HTTPS, it will be protected against the TLS weak versions and many other things. But this is like one-to-any. But what about any-to-any? We can have the same thing for the remote networks, and then we will create a specific tunnel, and we can inject it into the conditional access to make sure that it will work pretty fine. Small demo how we can go through it. First of all, we need to enable that. So basically, you need to click get started and then activate the global secure access within your environment. Then secondly, we need to create some things, like first of all, we need to download but we need to configure the profiles. Then we need to download the agent, and it will work only on the hybrid joint or Entra ID joint resources only. When it comes to the configuration, as an additional part, we need to configure something so-called external tenant restrictions to make sure that we will have the restriction in place, because we want to achieve situation that users will not be able to authenticate through the different tenants from our corporate environment. Going forward, we have something which is related to session management, like tenant restriction and adaptive access, to make sure it will be included with the package of internet access feature. and you can see that on the demo. I'm going through it, and yeah, I think we can move on. This is the part how the agent is installed. Next. Then we have something like the diagrams, like the diagnostic settings, and then you can see also, I know it's kind of pretty fast. You can see that we have some options, like we can redirect some host names, we can check the services, and then on top of it, we can see that if it's green, that all the channels are protected, meaning that Microsoft is taking care of the right security level when we are accessing our Microsoft 365 applications or any other SaaS applications. Going further to the data. Within the data, it's important to implement purview and implement labels and data classifications. We can do the auto labeling, we can do the encryption, we can do access control to the data and many other things. But all in all, the crucial thing is that we need to be aware that we have to enable that. Nobody will enable that without us, right? Then on top of that, we can implement data loss prevention. Some feature that will help us protecting our data, because the laptop is not required for anybody. The most important thing is that if somebody will steal my laptop, he's not doing it for the hardware, he's doing it for data on it. So we need to be sure that somebody will not be able to copy the data, extract the data, and send it to the market and get some money because of that. We need to protect ourselves. Going further, infrastructure, another example which is very nice, because because we have a lot of things here. We can implement Microsoft Defender for Cloud when it comes to the cloud environment. We can implement workload identity. We can create a deployment model, like every time use the pipelines in order to deploy the things in our infrastructure. It's not like we should use just-in-time access and secure access workstations / privileged access workstations to make sure that we will do the right job just in a specific time from this, let's call it approved workstation. I mean that we should not use global admin all day long. We should do it only in the specific time when we need those kind of privileges. And we should not do it like logging as a admin account from our laptop, but it would be better if we'll do it from secure access workstation, hardened workstation, which is secured, which is monitored in a proper way. Then, as advanced implementation for infrastructure, we can do the policy and pipelines to put some boundaries about where we can deploy resources, what kind of resources we can deploy, what tags we need, what kind of airbag should be implemented according to the least privilege principle, how the network segmentation will look. So those things will help us to implement something which is brought from the cloud adoption framework, like way how the Azure works. We have management groups. We can set the privileges of the management groups. Then it will be inherited to the subscription resources, and then all the way down to the application. It will help us avoid situation with something which is called identity not found objects within our Azure environments and the subscriptions, because sometimes people assign permissions by to the user on specific level, and then when user is disappearing magically by quitting the company from the environment, nobody will remove the privileges, and it will be shown as identity not found. We don't want to have it like that. We should use, of course, groups to assign permissions and privileges, but then think twice where you should assign those privileges. Sometimes we can do it from management groups as well. Going further, there is a way how we can protect our infrastructure and applications by Entra Private Access, another part of the Entra Suite bundle. So basically, we can configure alternative for VPN. We can enforce multi-factor authentication on legacy protocols, and we can enable adaptive per app access. How we can do it? Similar to the previous slide, but difference is that here we do not have applications like cloud applications, M365 and SaaS, but we have resources placed within the cloud vendors like Azure, like GCP, like AWS, and our corporate resources, like, for example, printers or some ERP systems or web applications inside of our corporate environment. How we can do it? Again, we have a laptop with agent installed. We have some private apps and resources within the on-prem /EAS and PaaS. We have a channel that is created. We have something so-called quick access app, sorry. And then for bright minds, it'd be very similar to what was said by Alex Simmons some time ago, that private access is like a premium version of application proxy. And I can agree with that. Very strongly, I can agree with that. Then, what else we can do with that? We have, again, something which is laptop, and we have some segments of the applications and resources. We can connect to them through the global secure access apps and make it work more convenient and more secure without VPNs, without any other additional softwares that we need to have on our environment. In a nutshell, if I would need to show you the differences between the internet access and private access, I would say that if we will divide the screen into half, on the left side we have SaaS and M365 apps. On the right side we have on-premise environment and cloud resources like infrastructure as a service or platform as a service. We can say that the global secure access is managing this access by those two products, and then it will help you to do three main things like verify explicitly the access, use least privileges, and then assume breach, because breach can be done every time and from everywhere. We need to understand that it could be also a man-in-the-middle work. Now I will move to the web browser again, because I would like to show you a couple of things. So first of all, about the Entra and the things that I described, there is a dedicated page regarding those things. But this is the most important. If you decide to implement something within your environment, you don't need to invent the wheel from scratch again. You can go to this web page and then check what is the zero trust. At the bottom part, sorry, not here, not this part here, you will be able to see on the left side all the pillars like identity, endpoints, data, applications, infrastructure, and network, all the areas that should be covered and how to cover them actually, because you can see that we can use the initial implementation like cloud identity federates with on-premise identity systems, which is like a synchronization between on-prem to cloud. Then do the conditional access policy gates, then decide on access privileges and manage through the identity governance. You can click here and then you will be informed how you can do this by the pretty well described informations. If we will go to the devices, for example, we'll get information that we should consider the Entra ID as a source for those devices to be joined. Then we should consider Intune, for example, and the compliance and many other things. So all those things could be found here, which is the great from my point of view, because it can help a lot. And I have another link that I will show you in a minute, but first of all, I will check if there are any questions. If I want to include zero trust in my learning path, what are the prerequisites for that? For example, it's a beginner friendly or if more advanced. I would say that the whole list of the links that I shared at the beginning would be good starting point for you, because then you will go through, let's call it, softly understandable resources for the users, and then you will get more and more advanced ones. So of course I would not recommend to go into the area like how to secure data in a right in this way, because it can be a little bit too much for some of the people, or too advanced. But if you will start soft, like from the blogs, from the, for example, technet, from Microsoft Learn, it will be a good thing. But also we have something which is called setup.cloud.microsoft. It's like a guide, place where you can find guidance on specific areas. So for example, if you want to do something with the Enter ID, we can find some information about how to configure Enter ID properly, how to make a sync properly, how to prepare the environment, how to migrate from ADFS to Enter ID, like guides step by step. And let's take a look at the ADFS migration. So here you will see that, all right, we have some things we need to check. What are the things, for example, within our environment? And then you will be brought to the area where from Microsoft Learn you can find step-by-step information how to handle those cases. Going to the next question, you mentioned data privacy. Could you please include guidance on data protection, particularly when users leverage AI tools for daily tasks like writing reports and drafting email text? When it comes to the AI, it's like it should be, from my point of view, AI should be added to the zero trust as a dedicated pillar, because it's going through all the pillars horizontally, I would say. So you can find some of the things in every area, but still, my feeling is that somehow AI is not addressed within the zero trust. But don't take me by word; it's only my personal opinion. We are humans and we can have our personal opinions, to be honest. I will now go back to the slide deck and get back to the questions if needed. Network, another thing. When it comes to the network, we should first of all consider our initial implementation as well designed, just not to redesign it from scratch every month. We should consider about dedicated IP scope for the cloud. We should consider implementing this hub and spoke model. We should consider, for example, RIDE setup, like, for example, WAF, for example, firewall and other things, or HTTPS protection, or encryption, redirect from HTTP to HTTPS. All those things we should consider. DDoS, obviously, as well. We should consider. But what I want to say as well is network, from my point of view, is the thing that will be also maneuvering between all the other pillars, because you cannot deploy something in cloud without having network. You cannot create some boundaries in a cloud without or conditional access sometimes without having the right network setup. So these are the things that we should also consider as points that we should for sure be prepared for them. And now I would like to ask you for giving some questions. If there are no questions, feel free to reach out to me through my blog or through my LinkedIn profile. I'm always open to answer to all the questions, and I will switch to the questions if there are any new of them.
Thank you, Robert. Actually, already you answered all question. Guys, if you have any question, please add in the comment. Or if you have any question in the future, you can connect with Robert.
Of course, ping me. Ping me. I'm always willing to answer to the people if they have questions.
Yeah. Great.
It was great to deliver the session today. I hope that maybe next year I will have chance as well to talk about some other options and other nice features for you. And yeah, from my side,
Yeah,
that would be all. Wishing you a
great,
great day, good night,
great.
depending on the time.
Yeah, I will promise to guys for New Year we have another time with Robert with great session.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you again, Robert. Have a
Yep.
good day.
Have a great day. Speak to you soon.
Bye
Stay safe. Bye.
bye.